Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Convinced that Clark Kent is Superman, Der Teufel, a brilliant half-mad Nazi scientist, and Henry Miller, whom Teufel has transformed into an atom man, able to destroy anything in his path, have begun their plot to conquer Superman and then the world. Posing as a young newspaperman, Miller secured a position as reporter on the Daily Planet, where he made friends with Kent and Jimmy Olsen. During Kent's absence from the office, Miller told Editor White that he had received a tip on a big story and received permission to follow the tip with Jimmy. As we continue now, 40 miles north of Metropolis, Miller, the deadly atom man with the unsuspecting Jimmy at his side, is driving a small roadster through lonely, hilly country skirting the sea. It is mid-afternoon. The sky is gray and overcast. Listen.
Gosh, Hank, you're as bad as Mr. Kent.
What do you mean, Jim?
Well, he always acts mysterious, too. We've been driving about an hour now, and you still haven't told me what this big story is we're on.
I was afraid if I did, you wouldn't want to go through with it. We may run into trouble.
Yeah, what kind of trouble?
I'll give you a hint. Who's the most dangerous man in the world?
In the whole world?
Uh-huh.
Gosh, I don't know. Hitler? No, he's probably dead. That Nazi scientist, Der Teufel? No, he's dead, too.
Is he?
Sure, didn't you hear about it? Mr. Kent got a cablegram from Germany this morning. Teufel blew himself up experimenting with a piece of kryptonite that was stolen from the Metropolis Museum.
He did?
Mm-hmm. He was supposed to be trying to create an atom man.
An atom man?
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine anything so goofy? And you want to hear something else funny? Mr. Kent was scared to death that Teufel could do it.
Ah, it's ridiculous.
Well, sure it is, but we couldn't make Mr. Kent see it.
Does Kent still believe that nonsense about Teufel and an atom man?
Well, he did up to this morning when he got the cablegram saying Teufel and the kryptonite were blown to Kingdom Come. Now he's like a new man.
Uh-huh. Sharp curve coming up. Hang on.
Look, we kind of got off the subject, Hank. You were going to tell me what this big story is we're on.
We didn't get off the subject.
Well, sure we did. You said...
I said our story was tied up with the most dangerous man in the world. And you guessed who that is. The Teufel. Uh-huh, that's right.
What? You're kidding. The Teufel is dead.
The tip I got said he's very much alive and in a hideout somewhere around here.
Around here? No, wait a minute. What? How?
Take it easy, Jim. You'll have plenty of opportunity to get scared. Later.
Later? Well, I'm scared right now. I mean, I'm excited. Listen, who told you Teufel is alive and hiding around here?
A very good friend of mine who knows all about Teufel.
Who?
You'll find out. Let's see, we're 43 miles out. We ought to be coming to a small woods. There's a map in the glove compartment in front of you. Get it, will you? It's drawn in a piece of paper.
Okay. Well, I don't see any... Say, what's this, Hank?
What?
Oh, these gloves. They look... Sure, they're made out of metal. Meshed metal.
Put them back.
What?
I said put them back, you little punk.
Hey, wait a minute. Who you calling a punk?
Sorry, Jim. Those gloves happen to be very valuable to me. Never mind the map. There are the woods now.
Well, what are you blowing the horn for? The road's empty.
This is where we're to meet my friend.
Hey, look out. 2 men jumped out on the road.
Those are my friends. They were waiting in the woods.
Are you sure? They look pretty tough. Especially the big guy in overalls.
They're tough, all right, as you'll find out.
I'll find out. Well, what do you mean?
Ah, you have young Orson. Good, Miller.
It was easy.
Huh? Say, who are you and how do you know me?
Oh, you do not remember me, Olson. You and I, and Miss Lois Lane, too, spent quite a bit of time together about a year ago.
What? You're Teufel. You dyed your skin and you're wearing a black wig and mustache, but I know you.
Bravo, Olson. And now...
Hey, Hank, what is this? You said these were your friends.
They certainly are. Very good friends.
What?
You look very stupid with your mouth open, Olson. If you will step out of the car, please, we shall go to a place where we can renew our acquaintance.
What? Hey, no, wait a minute.
Give me a hand with him, Willie.
Just leave him to me, Teufel.
Let go. Cut it out. Let go, I say. What's the idea? Hey, Hank, don't let... Oh, now I know. You're with them, you dirty Nazi. Help! Help!
Stop this noise and take him to the cabin, Billy. I will be there shortly.
Okay, Teufel, shut up. Shut up, I said, or I'll let you have it. Come on.
far, you've done well, Miller. Now we are ready for Superman. You have the mesh gloves in the throat converter?
They're in the glove compartment.
Good. And Kent is at the Daily Planet?
No, he's home. His doctor thought he needed a rest.
You have his telephone number?
Yes. You're sure that this'll work, Teufel?
You have nothing to fear. You need only turn the switch on the converter, and such atomic power will pour from your gloved fingers that Superman will be destroyed.
I hope you're right, Teufel.
I am always right. Go now, drive to the beach house, and make no mistakes.
I won't. What'll I do after it's over?
I will be there to tell you.
All right. Goodbye, Teufel.
Leaving the Teufel standing in the road, Henry Miller, the Atom Man, drives rapidly away. A half hour later, Clark Kent's telephone rings.
Hello?
That you, Mr. Kent?
Yes.
This is Henry Miller. Listen, Jim Wilson and I came out here on a story.
Yes, I know. The chief told me.
Well, we ran into trouble. Bad trouble.
What happened?
Jim,
Yes, what about Jim?
Mr. Kent, you've got to do something. I wanted to call the police, but Jim insisted I call you.
Well, tell me what's wrong. Where are you?
I haven't time to tell you. They'll be back any moment. They said they're going to shoot us.
Where are you, Miller?
At a beach house a few miles north of Grant Crossing, but you've got to hurry.
All right. Take it easy, Miller. Take it easy. A beach house north of Grant Crossing?
Yes.
I'll be there in a few minutes.
A few minutes? It's 50 miles from Metropolis.
I'll contact Superman. You and Jim sit tight, Miller. Don't worry. Superman will be right out.
Hanging up, Clark Kent swiftly resumes his true identity of Superman, never suspecting that he is being lured into a trap baited with Jimmy Olsen, a trap waiting to be sprung by the Atom Man. We'll return in a moment for the thrill-packed climax of today's episode. In a cabin set on a vast, lonely beach edged by a forest, Henry Miller, the Atom Man, has just completed his phone call to Clark Kent. Now, swiftly, he straps a small square metal box around his throat, directly over his jugular vein. This is the converter, in which a tiny electronic tube at the turn of a switch will flash an impulse to the kryptonite in his blood and send atomic energy rushing to his fingertips, from where it will emerge in an unbroken stream of terrible, shattering power. Quickly, then, he pulls on his meshed gloves of platinum and thorium, throws a scarf around his neck, and has just time to clasp his strangely gloved hands behind his back as a strong burst of wind is heard above the cabin, and then a thud as of a giant dropping to earth. A timeless moment, and the door of the cabin is flung open, and Superman in blue costume and red cape strides into the room.
Miller, what happened? Where's Jim?
Welcome, Superman.
All right, never mind that. Where's Jim, I say?
He's with the Teufel.
What? Der Teufel?
Yes.
What are you talking about? What's that on your throat?
You'll see in a moment, Superman.
Miller, what are you doing? What's that strange noise? And what are those gloves you're wearing?
You'll see that in a moment, too.
God, what happened to your voice? Miller!
You can stop calling me Miller from now on. Let me introduce myself. I am the Atom Man.
No. No!
Don't try to move. You're helpless now.
No. Stand back. Don't come near me!
Raising his weirdly gloved hands, the Atom Man slowly advances on the Man of Steel, who, helpless, stands rooted to the spot as all the miraculous strength in his massive superhuman muscles drains away. Step by step, the atomic monster in human form moves forward. Finally, he stops, and his thin lips curl in a deadly smile.
This is the end, Superman. In a moment, you'll die. Now!
Sharp explosion, a blinding white-hot flash that seems to leap from the Atom Man's meshed fingers. Jagged green sparks that strike against Superman's wilting body like miniature bolts of lightning. Is this the end? As the one and only survivor of the amazing civilization that once flourished on the planet Krypton finally met his master? Superman, whose strength was beyond measure, whose impenetrable skin turned back the sharpest steel, whose unfailing devotion to truth and justice struck fear into the hearts of those who preyed on their fellow men. Has he become the victim of that strange, mysterious power, atomic energy, the power that brought the warlords of Nippon to their knees? Has it now brought Superman to his knees, never to rise again? Fellows and girls, don't miss tomorrow's amazing episode. Nothing like this has ever happened before. So remember to tune in and tell all your friends to tune in tomorrow. Same time, same station, for the most exciting episode ever broadcast in The Adventures of Superman.
Now, The Adventures of Superman.
Convinced that Clark Kent is in reality Superman, Der Teufel, a brilliant but unscrupulous Nazi scientist, arranged for Henry Miller, whom he had transformed into an atom man, to meet and destroy the Man of Steel. Using Jimmy Olsen as a decoy, Miller contrived to have Superman come to the boy's rescue. And when the Man of Steel arrived at a lonely beach house where he expected to find Jimmy, he found instead Henry Miller, transformed into the deadly Atom Man. Before Superman had a chance to take in the situation, the Atom Man threw a switch on the electronic converter attached to his throat, and there was a blinding white flash as the atomic power of the kryptonite in his blood was released. Then jagged green sparks, like miniature bolts of lightning, leaped from the tips of his metal mesh gloves. Striking Superman, the terrific charges of atomic energy sent him reeling, stunned, his great strength draining from his powerful muscles. And as we continue now, the Atom Man, his gloved hands raised before him, advances on his shocked and helpless victim. Listen.
This is the end for you, Superman.
No.
The end.
No.
Never again will you interfere with our plans. Now Germany will rise from its ashes and enslave the world.
No. Keep away from me.
You're through. Finished.
Keep away.
My atomic power is destroying you.
You're mad, Miller. Stay away. Oh, I can't stand. Oh.
So the great Superman is on his knees. If only Teufel could see you. Now, die, Superman.
No.
Die.
Stop it. I can't stand it.
Advancing to where Superman has fallen to his hands and knees, mortally stricken, the Atom Man points the fingers of his meshed metal gloves, and an unending chain of flashing jagged green sparks strike against the Man of Steel's limp body.
Die, Superman! Die!
I can't.
His head sinking, his eyes closing, Superman hears a voice that somehow breaks through the mist of his waning consciousness, a voice that calls to him desperately.
You can't die now. You can't. All you ever fought for, justice, the rights of man, will be lost.
Die, Superman! Die like a beaten dog!
I can't stand anymore.
You've got to stand it. You must. Make one last effort. Get through the door to the beach outside.
Oh, I can't.
Die!
Oh, my strength is gone. I can't.
You must. Get outside. Get away and recover your strength. Then tear that box from his throat. It controls his power. You must do it. Hurry.
This is the end of you, Superman. Die! Now!
Somehow, from somewhere in his racked, tortured body, Superman finds the strength to raise himself from his knees, to stagger, reeling like a drunken man through the open door to the beach. Enraged, the Atom Man pursues him.
You can't get away, you fool! You're finished! Finished, do you hear? Only a few more seconds and you're through!
As the Atom Man pursues the reeling Man of Steel, the stream of jagged green death pouring from his meshed hands misses its mark, striking the beach and exploding a torrent of sand high into the air. A huge crater opens up, and down into it tumble the Man of Steel and the Atom Man, where they tangle in mortal combat.
Now I'll finish you! Now!
No. That box on your throat. I must get it.
His arms like lead, his fingers numb. The Man of Steel claws at the converter on the Atom Man's throat, almost reaches it, but the Atom Man twists away, trips, turns, and is temporarily hidden from his prey by a deluge of sand, which falls between and around them, forming a maze of small hills and dunes.
Now, my chance. Get away before he finds me.
Where are you? You can't escape!
Must,
Where are you?
Must get away. Must get strength back.
Great chest heaving, his eyes burning like live coals, Superman drags himself up the sandy slope of the crater, while the Atom Man, seeking him wildly in the maze of dunes, points his hands this way and that, blasting vast new craters in the beach.
Where are you, Superman?
Furiously, the Atom Man hunts for his prey, finally sees him staggering toward the forest. Shouting triumphantly, he races after him.
Now I've got you! Stop, you fool! Stop!
If I can reach the woods and lose it.
Again, the Atom Man points his meshed hands toward the Man of Steel, sending atomic lightning flashing into the forest beyond the beach. Great trees twist as in a violent earthquake and hurtle skyward, trailing masses of white roots like giant twisting snakes. One huge oak flung high into the air crashes down on the staggering figure of Superman, pinning him to the beach. He shudders, clasping the thick trunk lying across his chest. Minutes ago, he could have hurled it far out into the gray ocean like a toothpick, but now his weakened hands only close over it, then fall away. Through dimming eyes, he can see the Atom Man approaching. One last convulsive heave and the giant tree rolls a few scant inches, but not enough. Now the Atom Man is closer, the eerie whine and crackling of the deadly atomic energy roaring in Superman's ears like some vast maelstrom, sucking him down into a bottomless pit.
No, I've got you, Superman. You can't escape again. This time you're finished. It's Teufel. Hurry, Teufel! Hurry and see the end of Superman!
Like a wolf closing in for the kill, the Teufel races across the cratered, blasted beach to the edge of the forest, where, trapped under a giant tree, all the great strength gone from his once mighty muscles, Superman lies prone, his eyes closed against the shaking earth, while the Atom Man hovers above him, jagged atomic lightning flashing from his meshed fingers to strike, and strike, and strike again at the limp body of the Man of Steel. We'll return again in a moment for the climax of today's episode. As Superman lies helpless under the deadly atomic bombardment of the pitiless Atom Man, Jimmy Olsen is a prisoner in a shack in the woods nearby, guarded by Teufel's henchman Willie, an ox-shouldered, broken-nosed man in overalls. For several minutes they have heard explosions in the distance, and the sounds of giant trees being uprooted and crashing to earth. Now they feel the floor and walls of the shack begin to shake.
Oh, it's an earthquake or something. We've got to get out of here, mister.
You mean I got it, not you, Olsen?
What do you mean?
Teufel told me to keep you here till he got back. I ain't staying, but you are, see? I'm gonna lock this door.
No, I can't. The shack is going to cave in.
Now what? Get back in there or...
Look out, here comes the roof.
Oh!
The roof of the flimsy shack crashes down. A falling beam strikes Teufel's burly henchman on the back of the neck, felling him like an ox. Ducking, leaping wildly through the wreckage, Jimmy escapes into the forest. His heart pounding, he seeks some avenue of escape through the tall trees and underbrush. Spots a narrow, hardly perceptible trail and follows it. You can hear a dull rumbling all around him, increasing his fear.
It's an earthquake. I gotta get out of here. I just gotta.
Plunging onward, the boy reporter tops a small rise and finds himself out of the woods. Below him is the sandy beach, gashed and cratered, as if two great armies had fought over it. And beyond that, the sullen gray sea. Panting, Jimmy pauses to catch his breath. Then, suddenly, a new sound cuts through the rumbling, drawing his attention to a scene on the beach below him. He stiffens, turns ghastly pale.
It's Teufel and Miller. Something's shooting out of Miller's hands. Big green sparks, like lightning. And they've got someone on the ground. They're killing him. I've got to get help. I've got to get help, and quick.
His hair standing on end, Jimmy Olsen wheels like a frightened deer and plunges back into the woods, his eyes wide with the horror of what he has seen. Onward he races, tripping, falling, picking himself up and plunging on through the forest, filled with that awesome rumbling. Meanwhile, on the lonely, devastated beach, the Teufel looks on with pleasure as the Atom Man continues to bombard the now limp, unconscious body of Superman with the terrible, unleashed power of atomic energy pouring from his meshed fingers like devil's pitchforks. Is Superman finished? Did Jimmy Olsen witness the end of the great Man of Steel? Have Der Teufel and his human monster, the Atom Man, finally vanquished the heretofore unconquerable Superman? If they have, who now can stop Teufel in his mad plan to rule the world? There's a thrilling episode in store for all of us tomorrow, so don't miss it. Something startling occurs, something you can't possibly guess. So be with us same time, same station. Tune in and follow the adventures of Superman.
Using Jimmy Olsen as bait, Henry Miller, in whose veins flows deadly atomic energy, lured Superman to a lonely beach far from Metropolis. Wearing meshed metal gloves, Miller touched the switch on a converter at his throat, transforming himself into an Atom Man, from whose fingers poured a stream of terrible atomic power. After a titanic battle, Superman finally fell unconscious, and the Atom Man, joined by Der Teufel, the half-mad Nazi scientist who plans to rule the world, prepared to finish him. Meanwhile, escaping from the shack where he had been held prisoner, Jimmy saw the Atom Man in action, but failed to recognize that the unconscious figure on the beach was Superman. Horrified, Jimmy raced back through the night-darkened woods in search of help. And as we continue now, he has come to a small clearing in which stands the log cabin of a trapper. Panting, he pounds on the door. Listen.
Take it easy. I'm coming. What's all the rush, son?
Excuse me, I'm Jim Olsen. Can I use your phone?
Ain't got no phone.
Oh, golly. What'll I do?
What's the matter? You look like you've been around.
I gotta get to a phone and call the police.
Why? What happened?
Oh, gosh, it's terrible. Green sparks were shooting out of Miller's hands.
Green sparks?
Yes, like lightning. He was shooting them at some man on the ground, and Teufel was watching him.
Now, wait a minute. What is all this about? You sure you ain't dreaming, son?
Oh, please, mister, don't waste any more time. I saw it, I tell you.
Well, where?
On the beach. It was all ripped up like an earthquake hit it. Big trees were knocked down. Oh, please don't just stand there. The man might already be dead.
Now somebody's dead. Listen, son, you'd better sit down and take a rest.
Oh, I'm all right, I tell you. Look, here's my wallet. I'm a reporter for the Daily Planet.
Well, let's see the wallet.
Here, look at it. Hurry.
Yeah, it does seem like you're a reporter.
Of course I am. Please, mister, take me to a phone.
Well, okay, come on. I'll take you to Sam Tyler. He's game warden. See what he thinks about all this.
Has he got a telephone?
Yep. He's about a mile from here. Fella shooting green sparks out in his hands.
As the reluctant trapper leads Jimmy Olsen through the woods, a few miles away on the beach, the Atom Man, commanded by Der Teufel, has turned the switch on the converter at his throat, stopping the flow of atomic power through his metal-gloved hands. His eyes blazing, he stands by impatiently as Teufel bends over the limp, motionless figure of Superman. All about is a scene of chaos. Great trees ripped from the forest above the beach, split and blackened as if by lightning, lie all about in crazy profusion. The vast beach, from the gray sea to the edge of the forest, is gashed and torn into deep trenches and craters, almost as if it had sustained an artillery barrage. Only the wind and the low roar of surf break the silence of night, as finally the Atom Man steps forward impatiently, and again speaking in the normal voice of Henry Miller.
Well, Teufel, are you satisfied that he's dead?
He is not dead.
What? He must be.
I tell you he is not. His heart still beats. Faintly, but it still beats.
That's impossible. Why, that huge tree that lay across his legs, it's entirely disintegrated.
But Superman still lives. What must we do to kill him? What?
He can't be alive.
Will you stop saying that, you fool? I tell you he still lives. See for yourself. Put your ear to his chest.
I can't hear any heartbeat.
Listen again.
I still can't hear it. I tell you, he's dead. He's stone dead. Now, come on, Teufel. We've got things to do, big things.
We can do nothing until Superman is dead.
But he is.
I say he is not, and he must die. He must. Everything depends on it.
I tell you...
Will you be quiet? Wait, I have my pistol. Yeah, that will finish him.
You're wasting your time. The bullets just bounce off his body.
Yeah, they cannot penetrate. What will we do?
If you'll just listen to me.
I listen to you? Are you out of your mind? It is you who must listen to me.
Yes? I don't know about that.
Then you had better know, fool blockhead. Have you forgotten that it is I, Der Teufel, who gave you your great power, and that I, Der Teufel, can also take it away?
Can you?
Yeah, I can. Oh, wait, we must not quarrel now. Together the world is ours. But first... this tiny spark of life which remains in Superman must be extinguished. There must be a way.
I tell you he's dead, but if it'll make you feel any better, I'll turn on the converter again and...
No, you must not.
Why not?
The atomic energy of the kryptonite in your blood can be exhausted.
What's that?
You have already consumed a great deal of it today, and I cannot give you any more.
My kryptonite can be exhausted. You didn't tell me that.
I'm telling you now. That is why we must dispose of Superman permanently, so that he cannot interfere with us.
But if the kryptonite can be exhausted, how...
In case the sight of Superman's dead body is not enough, we need only one more demonstration of your power. We need only wipe out Metropolis, and America and the rest of the world will surrender to us.
But suppose that isn't enough. Suppose America and England and Russia won't surrender at once, and I've exhausted the atomic power of the kryptonite.
In that case, there's always the Scarlet Widow.
The Scarlet Widow, who's she?
An arch-criminal who owns the other 3 pieces of kryptonite.
She does?
Yeah, she... I have it.
What?
How to finish Superman.
How?
I will tell you. Despite his amazing powers, he is still a man, a human being. He requires food and drink. We will take him to the shack in the woods where Willie is guarding young Olson. We will dispose of Olson, and then we will keep Superman in a coma until he starves to death.
That's ridiculous. It's a lot of needless trouble. I tell you, he's as dead as he'll ever be right now.
I say he is not. Now listen to me.
Teufel, you're crazy.
I crazy? How dare you speak to me that way? Your power has gone to your head.
If you can't see that Superman is finished, you are crazy, and I'm taking matters into my own hands.
Listen to me, you...
No, Teufel, you listen to me. Superman is done for, and our next step is to destroy Metropolis, then call on the world to surrender to us and to Germany.
You dare to give me orders? I, who gave you your power?
Yes, you gave me my power, but I've got it now, and I intend to use it as I see fit. I don't need you anymore, Teufel.
What? After all I have done for you, you dare to defy me?
Yes. Keep your hand away from that gun.
Now, wait. Oh, you think I would shoot you, my atom man?
I know you would. You shot my father. You murdered him in cold blood.
No, that is a lie.
It's the truth. General Bromberg told me. I've been waiting for this chance, Teufel, but I didn't dare make a move because I needed you. But now I don't need you anymore.
You do. You are helpless without me. And the kryptonite in your blood is exhausted.
You told me where to get some more, remember? The Scarlet Widow.
Oh, no.
Yes, and now you're going to die, Teufel, the same way Superman died.
No, don't touch that converter. Don't touch it.
Too late, Teufel! It's building up!
I'll shoot you. I'll kill you.
Too late, Teufel! This is the end for you!
Throwing the switch on the converter at his throat, the Atom Man raises his metal-gloved hands toward Der Teufel, who snatches his gun from his pocket.
We'll return in a moment for the dramatic climax of today's episode.
On the lonely, ravaged beach, as Superman lies motionless on the ground, the Atom Man and his former master Der Teufel have quarreled violently. Drunk with his own power, the Atom Man turned the switch on the converter at his throat, releasing the deadly atomic energy of the kryptonite in his blood. As Teufel snatched a pistol from his pocket, the Atom Man raised his mesh-gloved hands toward him.
This is the end of you, Teufel!
Nine!
That's all, Teufel. You're finished.
Now we're even, Teufel. You killed my father and I killed you. Now I have the power to rule the world. What's that? Sounds like police sirens coming this way. I'll stop them. No, Teufel said that I can exhaust the kryptonite. I'll have to be careful until I can get more. I'll just bury Superman in this hole and get away through the woods back to Metropolis. Now to cover him up. I don't want him found and the police warned what to expect. Till I'm ready. I'll let them find Teufel, though. They'll think lightning killed him and knocked down all these trees. There, they'll never know Superman is under there. Just smooth it out a little. That does it. Here they come. Time for me to go. Goodbye, Superman. And goodbye to you, too, Teufel.
Swiftly, the Atom Man fades into the woods, leaving the dead Teufel lying on the beach, and Superman buried deep under the sand. The brilliant half-mad Nazi scientist has met his end at last, destroyed by the deadly atomic monster he himself created in his frenzied dream of ruling the world. But has Superman, too, been destroyed? And is the Atom Man free now to roam the world, to destroy further? Fellows and girls, our story is far from over. There's much tense action and excitement ahead, so don't fail to listen Monday, when events take a new and even more strange and startling turn. Tune in, same time, same station, and thrill to the adventures of Superman.
On a lonely beach 50 miles from Metropolis, Superman waged a titanic battle with Henry Miller, the Atom Man, a human monster in whose bloodstream flows the deadly kryptonite, enabling him to generate terrific atomic power. Finally, Superman was conquered and lay motionless on the sand. Drunk with power, Miller destroyed Der Teufel, the half-mad German scientist who had made him the Atom Man. Then, certain that Superman was dead, Miller buried him in a deep hole on the beach and left for Metropolis to make further use of his incredible atomic power. As we continue now, Jimmy Olsen, having escaped from a henchman of Teufel's, has arrived at the ravaged, blasted beach with Sheriff Simpson and a deputy. Unaware that Superman lies almost beneath his feet,
Jimmy stands by as the sheriff and his deputy bend over the charred body of the Teufel.
Appears to me this man was struck by lightning. Wouldn't you say so, Fred?
It ain't nothing else, Sheriff. Must have been one awful freak storm that hit here, too. There were the big craters in the beach, and them trees down the woods. You notice how they're split and blackened clear through?
Yeah. Olson,
Yes, Sheriff?
take another look at this fella. You still think he's that Nazi Teufel?
Oh, I'm sure of it. Especially now he hasn't got his phony wig and mustache
Well,
on.
I called Inspector Henderson. He'll be out here pretty soon. He'll know. Now, what about those other two men you said you saw here?
Must have been more than two, Sheriff, judging by all these tracks in the sand.
There were only two, besides Teufel, I mean. One was Henry Miller, our new reporter. He was the one who was shooting the green sparks out of his hands.
Green sparks?
Yeah, they were like little bolts of lightning, and they were coming right out of his hand.
What the...
Hold it, Fred. Go on, Olson.
Oh, Miller was shooting these sparks at a man in the sand. It was right about here, at the edge of the woods. It made the whole beach and forest shake. At first, before I saw what it was, I thought it was an earthquake.
Great Jehoshaphat.
Great fiddlesticks. Olson must have seen the tail end of the lightning storm. Some of the boats probably hit behind Miller, and Olson thought they were coming out of his hands.
They were, and there wasn't any storm.
Don't talk foolish, son. Only lightning could split these big trees down the middle and scorch them that way, and blast these big holes in the beach.
But I tell you...
Never mind. I told you what happened. Now, what about this man you say was lying on the sand? You, sure it wasn't this one? Fellow you claim Teufel?
No, Teufel was standing behind Miller. I don't know who the other man was. He was lying on his stomach.
Was he a big fella? Big or small?
He was pretty big, I think. He was all hunched up. I can't be sure. He had on a red sweater or jacket or something. I think he was dead. But Miller kept shooting those sparks at him.
If he was dead, where is he?
That's what I was going to ask.
Gosh, how do I know? I got scared and ran back through the woods to get help. Maybe Miller buried him.
Why would he bury him and not Teufel? I think...
Uh-oh.
What do you got there, Fred?
I think it's a... a gun, a .32.
Oh, see it.
Here. That's the part of the barrel sticking up out of the sand.
Yeah. 4 shots fired from it. Yeah, not very long ago, either. You can still smell powder.
Maybe that's what Olson saw. The sparks, I mean. Miller might have been shooting the guy on the ground.
No, I tell you...
Could be. Come on. Do a little digging where you found the gun, Fred. I'd be that Olson's right. Miller buried the fella.
Okay. It's right here.
Yeah, start digging. You look around, Olson. Might be you'll find something else.
Okay.
Don't seem like nothing's buried here, Sheriff.
Well, go down a bit more. Wait. Hey, what's this?
What?
This little piece of cloth, see? It's red.
Uh-huh, but what...
Olson said the fellow was wearing something red, a sweater, a jacket, or something.
Well, that piece of cloth didn't come out of a sweater or a jacket. It's too silky.
Yeah, it might have come out of a muffler, though. Olson said it might have been a muffler he saw. Yeah, look here. Darkened. Scorched like.
Might be powder burns, huh? From the gun?
Yeah, maybe. Come on, dig some more.
All right. Nothing yet.
Yeah, keep going. Found the gun here, a piece of cloth.
Hey, Sheriff! Sheriff!
Wait, Fred. What is it, son?
Come on over here. I found something.
Okay.
Where is he?
There at the edge of the woods.
Oh, yeah. What'd you find, Olson?
Come over here and see. I don't want to touch it.
Maybe he found the other dead guy.
Yeah, we'll see. Here. Okay. What is it, Olson?
There. See? On the ground.
What? Well, shucks, I thought...
Hey, look, Fred, look. There's another piece of red cloth.
Sure enough.
That's what I wanted to show you.
Yeah, looks just like the piece we found back there. Yep. Scorched and darkened the same way, too.
Any blood on it?
Nope. Don't get it.
Well, maybe Miller dragged the man into the woods here and buried him. And the piece of red cloth could have come from the man's clothes. Remember I told you he was wearing something red?
Say, that might be it, Sheriff. The ground looks fresh turned over, too. Maybe if we dig right here...
the ground looks fresh turned over. That's from the trees getting uprooted in the lightning storm.
But if we dig right here where I found the knife...
Yeah, we can't go digging up the whole beach and woods. Tell you what to do, Fred. You and Olson take my car and drive to Linwood. Find Doc Akers and bring him out here and look over the body. By the time you fetch him, Inspector Henderson ought to be here, and then...
Oh, I'll wait for the inspector. No. Gosh, I gotta call the Planet and tell him what happened to Teufel. This is a big scoop.
I don't want any newspaper stories till Inspector Henderson says it is Teufel. I want you to go to State Police Headquarters with Fred, Olson.
Oh, but I'm
sure. You heard me? You give State Headquarters a description of Miller and the car he was driving, so they can get an alarm out for him.
I tell you...
Will you stop arguing? Miller maybe killed somebody. And if that's really Teufel like you say...
Oh, it's Teufel, all right.
Well, then, if Miller was working with him, Miller's a Nazi, too. Maybe a murderer. We gotta find him. Now get going, both of you.
Okay, Sheriff. Come on, Olson.
I'm coming. Boy, they better get Miller. I tell you, there were green sparks shooting out of his hands and shaking the ground. Golly, I wish I knew where to find Superman. He'd make short work of Mr. Henry Miller.
Unaware that he himself prevented Sheriff Simpson and his deputy from finding Superman by calling them away just when their probing hands were a few scant inches above the buried man of steel, Jimmy follows the deputy to the sheriff's car. What will happen next? There's an exciting climax ahead, which we'll bring you in a moment. It is just before sunset on the lonely, ravaged beach where Superman and the Atom Man fought their Herculean battle. Teufel's body has been removed. Inspector Henderson and state police officers have visited the scene, made photographs, measured footprints, and departed. Now all is silent, save for the low murmur of the wind and the lapping of the outgoing tide. But suddenly the silence is broken as two men dressed in hunting clothes and carrying shotguns come through the fringe of the woods toward the beach. A black and white water spaniel roaming in the brush suddenly springs out on the sand and, plumed tail aloft, rushes off the beach, barking.
Listen to that crazy animal. Can't wait for us to knock a couple of crackers down so we can go fetch him.
I can't wait either. I haven't had a decent shot yet this season.
We ought to get plenty of shots in the next half hour. We got 3 mallards and a pintail on this beach yesterday, and the wind's better today.
I hope you're right. All I wanted... Hey, Joe. Look.
Holy smokes. What happened to the beach?
I don't know. It sure is torn up like it was bombed.
Yeah. Look at those trees up ahead. They're all down.
It must have been a hurricane.
We'd have heard about it. Probably a freak electrical storm. See how that big oak is split right down the middle?
Yeah. And it's scorched. Oh, you're right. Only lightning could do that.
Boy, glad I wasn't around.
Me too. Hey, look at that hole. Wow, it must be 10 feet deep.
I see it. Uh-oh. I see something better. Flight of mallards coming in straight ahead. Hold it, Mark. Don't move.
Right? Where's the dog?
Don't worry about him. He knows his business. Well, how do you like that? Barking his fool head off and scaring the ducks away. Biff! Come here! Biff, come here!
He's digging in the sand.
I'll teach him. Come on. He knows better than that. Biff, come here! Come here, boy!
He must have found something. Look how deep he is already. I can just see his tail.
Yeah, that fool dog. And after all the years he's been hunting, digging up a dead fish and barking his head off with ducks overhead. He's going to hear from me. Biff! Stop that digging! Stop it, I said! Biff! Stop that digging!
Enraged, the duck hunter strides along the beach, approaching the deep hole his excited dog is digging in the soft sand, determined to pull him away and reprimand him for having spoiled a perfect shot. If he does, the body of Superman, buried deep in the sand at the very spot, will never be discovered. For even now the tide is rising, and as the sun sets, the water will roll up and cover the beach. Or does it matter? Can Superman, bombarded by livid bolts of atomic energy, and buried now for almost an hour, still be alive? We'll know tomorrow, and we'll also know what plans the deadly Atom Man is hatching. So be sure to listen. Tune in, same time, same station, and follow the adventures of Superman.
Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents The Adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. Yes, it's Superman. And today on the bleak and ravaged beach where the Man of Steel waged his greatest battle, 2 duck hunters witness a strange scene. We'll join them in a moment. But right now, here's a word from your announcer.
You know, the other day, one of the gang told me that he always used to wish that there were more games that fellows and girls could play together. But since Kellogg's Pep began putting out those brand new comic buttons, well, he says it's swell. Because girls and fellas get a great kick out of collecting these brilliant new buttons, wearing them pinned on their jacket or dress or cap. And of course, there's always the fun of exchanging duplicates to add a new character to your collection. What's more, both fellas and girls in the gang say these comic buttons are just about the smartest looking things they ever saw. Full comic strip colors on a clear white-coated metal button with the pictures of your funny sheet favorites standing out like anything. Take that button with Superman on it, for instance. Boy, that's a honey. He looked so real he could speak. And as for getting all 18 buttons in the series, that's just as easy for girls as it is for boys. You can't buy them, you know, and you don't send in any money, not even a box top. The only way that you can get these new comic buttons is the easy way, as prizes in packages of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Ask Mom to get you a package of Pep tomorrow. Then see which prize you find inside. One of these brand new comic buttons or a military insignia or warplane button. Remember, that's P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek. Now the adventures of Superman.
Using Jimmy Olsen as bait, Henry Miller, in whose blood flows the deadly kryptonite which makes him an atom man, lured Superman to a lonely beach and defeated him in a titanic battle. Drunk with his power, Miller killed Der Teufel, the Nazi scientist who had transformed him into a human atomic monster, and then buried Superman in a deep hole in the sand. Then he left for Metropolis, intending to destroy that great city as his first step in conquering the world. But shortly before sunset, as Superman lay buried beneath the sand, two duck hunters, Joe Nelson and Mart Andrews, came up the beach. Suddenly, Nelson's hunting dog, a water spaniel, began to bark and dig furiously, spoiling a perfect shot for the two hunters. Annoyed, Nelson hurried to where the animal had already clawed out a sizable hole.
You bet! Come out of that hole! Come out, I say!
Wonder what he found down there.
Dead fish or a sand crab or something. You hear me, Biff? Come out of there! All right, if you won't, I'll haul you out. Aren't you ashamed of yourself? A pedigreed hunting dog digging for dead fish. Come on now.
He sure doesn't want to come out of there.
I don't know what's come over him. Biff, cut it out. Stop that noise. How do you expect any ducks to show up with you barking your fool head off?
Here, look at him. He wants to dig some more.
I'll dig him. Biff, stop it. Stop it, I said.
What the? Hey, Joe, wait.
Huh? What's the matter?
Come here.
What is it?
Look down there, where the dog was digging.
Shut up, Biff. Where, Mark?
At the bottom of the hole, sticking out of the sand. You see?
Holy smoke. Looks like a man's foot.
That's what it is. Somebody's buried down there.
Well, that's why Biff... Come on, Mark. We gotta see about this. Help me get the sand off him. Get away from here, Biff. Get away. Come on.
I can't understand how anybody'd be buried here on the beach.
The tide might have washed him up.
Yeah, maybe, but... I don't like this, Joe.
I don't either.
Hey, he's dead as a doornail, Joe.
What'd you expect, buried under the sand? Poor guy. Wonder who he is.
Beachcomber, maybe. Say, that's funny. His clothes are ripped to pieces. You can't even make out what they are, but I don't see any marks on him.
I don't either. Well, that is funny.
What do you suppose happened to him?
Search me. He wasn't drowned, you can tell that. You know, come to think of it, he must have been struck by that lightning.
Lightning?
Sure, the lightning storm that knocked down all those trees and tore up the beach. Big bolt must have hit him, dug a hole in the beach, and buried him. Look at his clothes, or what's left of them. See how charred they are?
If it was lightning that burned and tore his clothes up that way, he'd be burned too.
That's right. Well, no use worrying about...
Hey, what was that?
What was what?
I heard a low moan. Didn't you hear it?
No. Oh, maybe you heard Biff up the beach.
Biff's way up the beach.
Oh.
There it is again.
Yeah.
Holy smoke, Joe. This fella's alive.
How could he be? Buried under the sand?
Wait a minute. See if I can hear his heart.
Well, you felt his heart before.
I just put my hand over it. I was sure he was dead. Quiet now.
Hear anything?
Not yet. Wait. Yeah. It's beating all right.
It is?
Yeah. I can hardly hear it, but it's beating all right. We've got to get him to a doctor fast. Take his legs, Joe.
Okay. Oh, no. No, wait. We better not move him. He might be hurt inside. Now, I'll tell you what. I'll drive to Sam Tyler's and call the hospital at Linwood. Send out an ambulance.
But his heart's weak. He may go any minute.
Getting the ambulance here will be better than us carrying him to the car and then giving him a bumpy ride. The ambulance can come in on the beach road. I'll make it as fast as I can, Mark. Come on.
Leaving his hunting companion with the still figure of Superman, Joe Nelson rushes away to his car. Within an hour, an ambulance roars up the beach road, and two attendants bearing a stretcher hurry across the dark sands. A short time later, in a room in the Linwood Hospital, Superman lies in a bed, his eyes closed, scarcely seeming to breathe. Leaving an intern and nurses with him, Dr. Bruce, chief of staff, steps into the corridor where Sheriff Simpson awaits him.
How is he, Doc?
Hello, Sheriff. Still in a coma.
What are his chances?
Frankly, not too good. Our only hope is that he'll respond to a blood transfusion. We're getting him ready now. By the way, his people ought to be notified. You able to find any identification in his clothes?
Call them clothes? Weren't no more than burn up rags. Fall to ashes if you touch them. If you had any papers on them, they're ashes, too. Hey, Doc, you figure he was struck by lightning?
I never heard of a man struck by lightning who didn't show a mark of it on his body.
Me neither. His clothes all ripped to pieces and burned. How could that happen without there being a mark on him?
I don't know, Sheriff. This is a very puzzling case.
You said it. Sure hope you can pull the poor fellow through, Doc. Chances are he's the one young Olson saw on the beach with them two Nazis.
Nazis?
Mm-hmm.
What Nazis?
Ain't in the papers yet, but one of them was Teufel, a Nazi scientist. He was killed by lightning. No doubt about that. The other one, Henry Miller, got away. This fellow might be able to tell us what Teufel and Miller were up to, where Miller went.
Well, I'll certainly do all I can, Sheriff, but...
Dr. Bruce.
Ready for me, Snyder?
No, sir. Please come here, sir. Something happened. I can't understand it.
What's the trouble?
His skin, I can't puncture it.
What?
Yes, sir. I broke 2 needles. His skin is impenetrable.
What's that mean, Doc?
I'll have to see. You can come in, Sheriff.
I remember reading of a case of a man struck by lightning.
Never mind, Snyder. Get an injection needle, please.
Yes, sir.
Looks dead to me, Doc.
Still alive.
Here you are, sir.
Thanks. Step back, please, Sheriff. Now, swab his arm, Snyder.
Yes, sir.
That'll do. Now, let's see about this. Good heavens.
Needle broke.
You see, sir, it's amazing, but I once read about it.
Never mind about your reading, Snyder. Get me a scalpel.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Doc.
Step back, please, Sheriff.
Okay, I just wanted to know.
Here you are, sir.
Now, let me see. Wait. Great heavens, you're right, Snyder. This man's skin is impenetrable.
I told you, sir. The lightning must have petrified his skin. I read of a case like that.
So have I, but I never believed it.
What goes on, Doc?
Something occurred, perhaps the lightning, as Snyder suggests, which has made this man's skin impenetrable. That means, unfortunately...
Yeah? What does it mean?
It means we can't give him blood plasma. We can't do anything for this poor chap now. He's doomed. Superman doomed. And strangely enough, by one of his own superhuman powers. And while he lies helpless, given up for lost, his deadly foe, the Atom Man, has arrived in Metropolis. We'll return in a moment for the startling climax of today's episode. As Superman was brought to the Linwood Hospital, Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man who had defeated and left him for dead, arrived in Metropolis. Now, just before 11 o'clock at night, his hat pulled low over his face and his coat collar muffling his chin, he is riding an express elevator to the observation tower of the Metropolis Bank Building, the highest point in the city, 105 lofty stories above the street. Except for the Atom Man and the uniformed operator, the elevator is empty.
You won't get much for your 50 cents tonight, mister. Tower closes in 5 minutes at 11 o'clock.
5 minutes will be enough for my purposes.
Well, you can't really get the view in that short time, from all sides of the tower, that is. Besides, it's pretty cloudy tonight.
I don't mind clouds.
Okay, mister, it's up to you. Here we are. Looks like you got the whole place to yourself.
That's okay. I won't be lonesome.
I'll be up for you in 5 minutes when the tower closes.
Fine. That's all the time I'll need.
I don't get it, but okay.
Walking out the deserted observation tower, 105 stories above the street, Henry Miller casts a quick look around him, makes certain he is alone, then reaches into his pocket and withdraws his meshed metal gloves and electronic throat converter. Quickly, he straps the converter to his throat, tight against his jugular vein, then pulls on his metal gloves. Now he is the deadly Atom Man. He stops at the chest-high brick wall which surrounds the tower, peering down through the cloudy night at the broken pattern of lights and darkness below him, where the citizens of Metropolis work and sleep peacefully, unaware of the destruction threatening them.
First Metropolis, then the rest of the world. I will leave only this building standing. The rest I will turn to less than dust.
For a moment longer, the Atom Man looks down on the great city beneath him. Then his right hand moves to the switch on the converter at his throat, the switch that will send the impulse to the kryptonite atoms in his blood and force them surging in a terrible stream of atomic power through his metal gloved fingers. What can save Metropolis now? Jimmy Olsen, Perry White, Lois Lane, and all the other innocent millions. Superman lies scarcely breathing in a hospital 50 miles away. Never was a moment more tense. So don't miss tomorrow's thrilling episode, fellows and girls. Something happens. Something you can't possibly guess. Tune in, same time, same station, for a thrill a minute in the adventures of Superman.
Conquered and left for dead by Henry Miller, the Nazi Atom Man, Superman lies in a coma in a country hospital. With his costume torn and burned beyond recognition, his identity is unknown, and all hope for his life has been abandoned. Meanwhile, with Superman disposed of, Miller decided to test his atomic power by destroying part of Metropolis. And late at night, he ascended to the observation tower of the Metropolis Bank Building, 105 stories above the street. Alone now on the high tower, he fastens a tiny electronic converter to his throat and dons meshed metal gloves. A maniacal gleam in his eyes, he looks down at the great sleeping city below him and reaches to throw the switch on the throat converter, to flash an electronic impulse to the deadly kryptonite atoms in his blood and send them surging in a stream of terrible atomic power through his metal-gloved fingers. Listen.
Now is the time. I will destroy part of Metropolis. Then the rest of the world will surrender to me. And Germany will rise from her ashes. And I shall be her savior. In a moment, Metropolis, you'll be dust. Only this one building will remain of all your glory.
Throwing the switch, the Atom Man raises his curiously gloved hands, stretches them beyond the chest-high wall which surrounds the dark tower. He waits for the atomic energy to build and surge in his blood. For the first blinding white-hot flash, the avalanche of jagged green sparks, the forked lightning that leaps from his fingers. He waits one moment, two, and then the first whining crackle of the deadly atomic power begins.
There it comes. What's wrong? Where is the lightning?
Suddenly, the deadly crackling hisses and sputters out, and a look of alarm crosses the Atom Man's face. His hand flies to the switch on the throat converter, turns it again. Still, there is no flashing explosion, no snake-like green lightning. Frantically, the Atom Man turns the switch again and again, seeking for his terrible power. But he hears only the empty, futile click of the switch. And then even the radioactive hum of the kryptonite in his blood fades away. He rages, and then he gasps and pales as he remembers the warning of the brilliant half-mad scientist who had transformed him into a human monster.
The Teufel. He said my atomic power would diminish. He said the kryptonite in my blood could be exhausted. I've got to find the Scarlet Widow. She has more kryptonite. Oh, but how? I don't know her. I don't know where she is. Wait, before I left Germany, Teufel told me something. What was it? I remember. He said there was an address stitched in one of my gloves. Someone's coming out here.
11 o'clock, mister. Gotta close the tower now, here.
Oh, it's the elevator operator. Got to get the converter and gloves off before he sees them. Okay, I'll be right with you. There, into my pocket with them. Sorry to have kept you waiting.
Oh, that's all right. I just have to see that everyone's off at the tower at 11 o'clock. Those are the rules.
I understand.
Yeah, I'll take you down, huh? Hey, you couldn't see much tonight, could you, hey?
I didn't see what I wanted to, but I will the next time.
Descending to the building lobby, the slim, blonde Atom Man leaves the car and walks rapidly to the street, his hat pulled low over his eyes, his coat collar muffling his chin. In the shadow of a doorway, he carefully examines his metal gloves, nods with satisfaction, then hails a taxi and is driven to a handsome apartment building in an exclusive residential section facing the park. In the foyer of a ninth-floor apartment, he gives one of his gloves to a short, slant-eyed manservant in neat, dark clothes, who disappears with it, then returns to conduct Miller into a luxuriously furnished drawing room. There, reclining on a divan, with a box of chocolates at his elbow, is a grotesquely fat man in a flowered silk dressing gown. Small, almost babyish features are set in a vast, pale, moon-like face, topped with thin, silky pink hair. As he listens, his pudgy hands constantly conduct chocolates to his tiny mouth. But as the Atom Man nears the end of his story, the fat man, who is known only as Sidney, pauses with a candy halfway to his lips, and his sleepy little eyes sparkle like cold blue diamonds.
Superman dead, eh? I can't believe it.
It's true.
Superman dead. My boy, if that's...
Will you stop saying if? I tell you I killed him.
Gently, Miller, gently. I'm accustomed to surprises, but this is the most amazing thing I ever heard. Amazing. All of us, were certain he could never be destroyed. We tried everything.
Well, we can forget about Superman now. I need more kryptonite, and you've got to get it for me, Sidney.
Where does one get the kryptonite?
A woman called the Scarlet Widow has it.
The Scarlet Widow?
Yes, do you know her?
Who doesn't know the Scarlet Widow? She's the cleverest woman in the world, and the most dangerous.
I don't care about that. You know where she is?
I can find out, if necessary, but you told me that Teufel had to go to your father in Germany to have the stuff dissolved. No other chemist could do it. But now your father's dead.
I helped my father when he was working on the problem. I remember the formula for dissolving it. Of course, we'll need a good chemist.
Securing the chemist won't be too difficult. But dealing with the Scarlet Widow is another matter. Very expensive.
So what? You must have plenty of money.
No man ever has enough money. And I love money more than anything in the world. Are you sure you won't have a chocolate? These are really delicious.
I said I don't want any. Look, Sidney, you don't seem to understand. Once I'm the Atom Man again, I can destroy Metropolis, London, Moscow. I can destroy all of our enemies.
I'm not interested in destroying our enemies. And destroying cities is a great ways. Great ways. Cities represent wealth, and wealth is all that matters.
I'll get someone else to help me.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You won't get very far. Probably not even a mile from this house.
What do you mean?
Haven't you seen the papers? Or heard the radio tonight? The police and the FBI are looking for you.
Already?
Of course. That's why I think it would be wise to place yourself in my hands.
All you want is money. I have no money.
But once you have atomic power, we can get plenty of money. All the money in the world.
What do you mean?
It's very simple. Suppose you destroyed Metropolis, or at least a part of it. Yes, I think that would be an excellent idea. The world would then know our power. But instead of destroying London or Moscow or any other city, we only threaten to do so. Can you imagine them refusing to pay us anything we ask to spare them? Well, what do you say?
Fine. When do we start?
Wait. First, you must pledge to follow my orders exactly. In everything. Agreed? I know that look in your eye, my friend. You think once you're the Atom Man again, you'll finish me off. As you did twice.
No, of course not.
Don't bother to lie. Let me warn you. I can protect myself even against your atomic power. Gito!
Yes, master.
If I know you, Gito, and I think I do, you, managed to overhear my conversation with Mr. Miller.
Yes, master.
What a rogue you are. I think that's why I like you. And am I wrong in assuming that you've already made inquiries of our people about the Scarlet Widow?
That is correct, master.
Is she, in Metropolis, Gito?
Yes, master.
Wonderful. Here, have a chocolate.
Thank you, master.
Look, Sidney, let's not waste time. Let's get...
When money is involved, I never waste time. And when as much money as this is involved, money beyond counting, then I can act swiftly indeed.
What's that?
Oh, keep calm. It's only the clock. Midnight. But I'm sure the widow will be glad to see us. She loves money as much as I do. Bring my coat and hat, Gito, and order the car. We're going visiting.
His fat baby face beaming, Sidney removes his dressing gown and laboriously dons the greatcoat which his servant brings him. Then, panting, he waddles from the apartment with Gito and the eager Atom Man.
We'll return in a moment for the tense climax of today's episode.
As the Atom Man and the Master Spy, Sidney, are en route to the Scarlet Widow's hideout, Superman still lies unconscious in the Linwood Hospital 50 miles away. In the last hour, he has been mumbling incoherent, disjointed sentences. Near the bed in which he lies, their faces grave, Dr. Bruce, Chief of Staff, speaks quietly with Dr. Jacob Sims, a world-famous specialist, summoned from Metropolis.
Adams, no.
You too would say the case was hopeless then, Dr. Sims.
I'm afraid so. You've tried all the usual shock methods to bring him out of his coma?
Yes, but not even Benzedrine increased his heart action. If only his skin hadn't become impenetrable.
Yes, that's an amazing thing. The skin texture shows no sign of calcification. I can't understand it.
I can't either. But it has become impenetrable, so it's impossible to give him an injection. Poor chap, I doubt if he'll last the night. Well, it was very good of you to rush down here, Dr. Sims.
Not at all. I'm terribly sorry I can't be of more help. But it's a most interesting case.
I'll walk you to your car.
Is the verdict of the two doctors final? Is there no hope for Superman?
Tomorrow's episode is tense and exciting, fellows and girls, so don't miss it. Tune in, same time, same station, and listen to The Adventures of Superman.